How's it going today?
See that I'm all knotted up here. I got my dark blue shirt.
First of all, not only is this 2 days in a row, you're making me look bad because
that's what I'm trying to do.
That's fine, except for the fact that today you look like you just came back from a mob hit.
We don't like to talk about those things.
Okay.
Listen, I'm just saying. I do have that look.
The blue shirt and the very aggressive yellow tie.
Vibrant blue.
You're going after it today, and it's as if you went after somebody, and I hope it's not me.
No.
But
a shirt and tie combination like this would make me stand out in that type of situation that you alluded to. Now, if you remember the Paul Castellano hit.
Rub out. Yep.
Before, in December.
Is that the Sparks?
In front of Sparks.
Yeah.
The two alleged assassins were both wearing those, and you're familiar with this, those Cossack hats as to sort of, so they wouldn't be able to be, in terms of height, nobody would know how tall they were. They sort of blended in. So
wow, genius.
You want to sort of go for the more blend thing than stick out thing.
I have a couple. They're Cossack hats. I don't know where Cossack comes from, but it's
I said
Cossack,
I'm not,
Kojak. It ain't today. Big day for the country, and new president sworn in. Markets under the Trump presidency had a good run. A president that often defined his presidency by the stock market, rightly or wrongly, but unlike any president in history, no one ever spoke about the market the way Trump did. And I'm sure there are so many other things he did that people can say were never done before. So number 46.
46, that's the next president. 46,
46, man.
46.
And sometimes we refer to the presidents by their number, right?
You know what? 46? I don't think that ever was the case. Until
Bam Bam.
Yeah, they talked about
Bam Bam.
President Obama with numbers.
I think we talked about 44. I think we talked not
guys
Chuck Foreman.
That wore number 44 were typically, I don't know how to say this. I'll say it. They were typically like the biggest ego sort of. If you wore 44, you better.
What number did Reggie wear?
I think he wore 44. I mean, I don't know. I got to go back.
I think he did too. I wish Moran was here. He'd know.
Yeah.
Tommy, if you're watching, huge fan of the show, Tom Moran. All right.
But so you understand my point. Like, you got to really have a set of,
you got to live up
onions.
To the 44.
You got to live up to that number.
Well, and 46, what was so you got the 46 defense, right?
Sure.
That was the Bears, 85 Bears.
Gary Fensick and Doug Plank obviously were the sort of the guys, hanging out. I mean, if you want to really get down to brass tacks.
46 was it? It was the positioning. It was the formation. It didn't refer to guys' uniform numbers. Right?
Listen, we're going to get added here.
Well,
mercilessly.
Look, Chicago, come at us, man. We got to know.
But I think the 46 defense was after either Doug Plank or Gary Fensick's number, if memory serves.
Again, uniform numbers. Some guys are great at this. Best Yankee 46. I think there's an obvious one, man. And I'll be disappointed if you don't get it.
So I'm not a big number guy either, but was Andy Pettitte 46?
Andy Pettitte.
There you go.
That guy was a pro's pro, won 250 something games. I know it's notable because I think there's only like 4 other dudes who haven't been put in the hall who've won that many games since 1910. And your boys still, why is that?
Look at you. And Mike Mussina, who I think, he came within a whisper of 300. I think he finished like 275. He made it in, justifiably so. And maybe one day Pettitte gets in. I don't know. But in terms of left-handers, he's probably in the top 10 list of wins of all time, I would have to imagine.
And speaking of left-handers, a guy at 46 for the Mets was really more about promise. But the most important thing about this guy is he was instrumental in the greatest trade the Mets have ever put together, if you ask real Met fans.
The greatest trades the Mets have, well, obviously the Jim Fregosi, Nolan Ryan trade is not what you're talking about.
Not so much.
Obviously the Tom Seaver trade is probably not top,
Why are you doing
top
this?
of
These
mind.
are terrible trades. How about the 2 trades that really were the
Keith Hernandez getting Keith.
Okay.
I knew. Listen, I was just sort of
number one
leading
trade
you down the primrose path.
Number 1 trade, right? And so, who did they trade? I don't expect you to know this, but any Met fan worth his salt knows this. That the Mets traded Neil Allen, number 46. He was the showpiece in that trade. I believe a Rick Ownby, and some other scrub. And
Rick Ownby is correct. And back to you, Doug Plank was the 4-6.
So there you go. I hit that one on the screws. So you Chicago people step down. And in terms of your Met trade, I mean, Great trade, no doubt. Neil Allen, by the way, a cup of coffee in the Bronx as well. One of the many guys that played in both Flushing and the Bronx.
So let's talk about the guy that's playing in the White House right now.
Please, good
And
segue.
what's a soundtrack, not for his presidency, because that's not what we do here either, for the market as he steps into office. And again, some great soundtracks, folks. By the way, hit us at commercial break. We'll tee you up for this. But I mean, there's the best soundtracks in history.
Yeah.
We've done something like this, so we're gonna have to put a little variation on this because I don't need to get Singles again and Forrest Gump again. But we'll get you. Meantime, guys, so give me your soundtrack.
So I'm going to give you the song.
Give me two
and
songs.
Obviously,
Give me two songs.
I'm going to give you this one song because I know you have some thoughts and we're running low on time here. But I'm going to give you off of Zeppelin 4.
Yeah.
One of the top 5 Zeppelin songs of all time, not written by Zeppelin, When the Levee Breaks. And,
right.
You know, I bring that up because, look, this has nothing to do with President Trump's administration or now President Biden's administration. It has everything to do with the fact that, you know, more and more bad news gets pulled on top of this market and nothing seems to affect it anyway. And you just wonder if it does keep on raining, the levee almost has to break. And I'm just curious as to what'll be the catalyst.
And the song is great metaphorically because, you know, what is it raining? It's raining money and it's raining liquidity. And the administration we're talking about really is the run of the Federal Reserve, is the most important, you know, institution in our country. And maybe one of the most vilified as the history books will be written, not today, but maybe in 10 years. I'm going to go with, again, be careful. I'm not going to be political on this, but the Who's I think it was 77, maybe 76 release. 77, maybe 78. Who
Right.
are you? Who are you? And,
Okay.
and the reason I'm doing that is because not, you know, who is Joe Biden, the politician? Who is Joe Biden from a policy perspective? What are we going to see? There's clearly going to be some furious activity in terms of executive orders in the first 10 to 15 days of this presidency. But I'm not sure that the market really understands what those policy are going to be, or maybe it's just me transferring in my disbelief that markets can act as if we have the same tailwinds from a policy perspective for the markets. And again, Who Are You was also a time we didn't know where that band was going, frankly, when this album came out, because, you know, disco had struck. The Who were on the downside before they had some resurgence late in their career. By the way, the Who over the Stones all day long.
I agree.
I don't care
100%.
what you say.
No,
it's like Coke over Pepsi, McDonald's over Burger King, the Who over the Stones. Zeppelin's not in that because Zeppelin's in its own place.
Agreed.
So that's my soundtrack. And then the only other one I'd throw in there, because it was such a great song, and I know you love this, and I know you go to karaoke all the time and do We Are the World. And We Are the World, not because I think we're going to go back to this 1990s global democracy dynamics and free trade and this and that. But I think the world is looking for a kinder, gentler something right now in terms of policy. Doesn't mean we should go soft on China. Doesn't mean that there's necessarily going to be a different approach to tariffs. But I do think you've got a case here where people are going to be feeling each other out on a geopolitical sense, all anew.
Well done. I believe there was 78 for that Who Are You album. I think it was like their 7th or 8th studio album. I'm in accord with you on the whole thing.
What year with
We Are the World? I mean, no.
What year was that? What year's We Are the World?
Wow, 84.
I want to go 80. Yeah, I want to go 85. I'm thinking Live Aid was 85, maybe 84. And incredible. In fact,
85. There you go.
Thank you. Quincy Jones, man. Quincy Jones at his peak, one of the most powerful guys in music. And think about the people you got together. I know the Cyndi Lauper part was particularly good for you. And you loved Kenny Loggins and Dan Aykroyd in the background singing. By the way, look at that video. Dan Aykroyd, yes, Dan Aykroyd's in there. Guy, you look a little bit like Aykroyd today. Please don't take me down, but have a good day.
We got to get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow.